Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining me for another special edition of Apraxia Awareness videos via Zoom with young adults who have apraxia in our community and in our world. And we're actually international right now because we have a Canadian friend with us. I'm just so excited to introduce you all. I'm going to take a back seat like I did last time. I will be moderating and just asking them questions, but I'm excited for everyone to see. This is a star-studded, seriously. Their bios are impressive. And Jordan, I'm going to have you take it away first.
Sure. So, hi, my name is Jordan. I'm 23 years old now. I run a blog called Fighting for My Voice, My Life with Verbal Apraxia, and I'm also an advocate for apraxia and for mental health, and I'm also a college student getting his bachelor's in psychology.
Thank you. Samantha?
Hi, I'm Samantha Sewell. I am the reigning Miss Royalty International. If you look at Miss Royalty International 2020 on Facebook, I will come up with my Facebook page. Yay. I also run a Instagram blog called fashion__geek, which that ties into my bullying story and actually how I got involved with advocating for apraxia. I am a preschool teacher as well as a student at Gallaudet University, focusing on training for teaching students with disabilities in preschool.
That's so great. Thank you. And Tessa McAvoy.
Hey, I'm Tessa. I am 20 years old and the creator of Apraxia Story on Facebook. I've been doing art my entire life, and that's just been my passion, just to share my story.
Yes, and you are so humble. Talk about the 2 books that you have out.
I know.
Alrighty, so I do have 2 books. One book is called Buddy, A Story for Dyslexia. It is a non-profit to raise money for reading remediation for low-income kids.
Wow.
And I also have another book called The iPad Rules. It's a book about about how to follow the rule. Wait one second, messed that up. But it's a book about for students to follow how to treat the iPad in the classroom and to make sure that the iPad stays safe. I originally wrote it from my aunt who teaches kindergarten, and she wanted something. Baskall, get down. Now, not the doggy. So this is my book, The iPad Rules. It was initially made to show kids how to treat the iPad in the classroom, hand illustrated and written by me on my iPad.
Wow, that is
awesome.
So impressive.
Thank you.
I was going to pull up your bio and make sure you didn't forget anything, because I remember reading both of you and thinking, wait a minute, did they miss anything, Jordan, that I missed, that they forgot to tell?
Wait, I think I forgot to mention something.
Yes, go ahead.
I was also an award winner of the under 24 leaders and innovators in STEAM for the March generation.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's right.
I made a coloring book for the March generation to raise awareness about space travel and to raise awareness to the March generation because they fund kids to go to space camp.
Yes, I love that. That is so awesome. So as everyone can see, oh, Samantha, you didn't mention, sorry, I'm reading Jordan's bio. I just want to make sure that our listeners know how amazing you guys are. She has, pageant titles to help spread awareness. She's spoken at major events. I'm going back to Samantha now. Actually, why am I speaking for you? Please speak to the major events that you've done, and as well as the magazines, the rest of that bio piece.
Okay. I have spoken at several major events, such as this past September. I spoke at New York Fashion Week. I've spoken at Chicago Fashion Week. I've spoken at Apraxia Walk for Kids in Calgary, as well as Teen Fest Canada. I have been published in over 18 different magazines of my story, and I won the top 200 youth in the world for the Power of Youth Award by Kelly Lavelle, and I was featured in her book, which is The Power of Youth.
I just like got chills. Seriously, I'm such a nerd about this stuff, I know, but like that just gives me chills. Like it's just, thank you so much. And I know it's weird to talk yourself up sometimes, but it's important that people know the accomplishments that you've made, and you've made them in spite of having a speech disability. So anyway, that's why that's important that you put that in there.
Yes, for
so
sure.
We have 3 topics lined up for today. Our topics are going to include advocacy, bullying, and then mental health. And so we're just going to get started with advocacy. I'm going to kind of, let you guys take it away. But essentially, I think the first question would be, why is apraxia awareness important? And why is your advocacy, or what is your advocacy work? And why do you feel like it's important? So anyone, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So it's why I feel like it's so important is because it's apraxia is really just not known, and it's really just not heard of. And also, it's a big part of why I do what I do, and I film and I blog and I do all these kinds of different things, is because I actually didn't know that other people had apraxia until I was 21, and I didn't meet a person with apraxia until I was 22. So I just went all of these years of my life just not knowing that anyone had it. So I guess my main goal is just for kids, teens, and for adults to know that they're not alone, and there's more people out there with this. We just need to have everybody kind of group and get on the same team.
And I know that Tessa Jordan really inspired you to create,
Yes.
I think, your apraxia story. And so why is advocacy, and why did you do that, and what do you hope to accomplish from it and with your advocacy work?
Well, I remember being really inspired by Jordan. One night I was like looking through Facebook, and all of a sudden I stumbled across Jordan's page, and I was like, whoa. Because I do have apraxia, and I can really relate to how Jordan, like the struggles that you have gone through, Jordan, and like how like it's been like, and like how it can be really hard to like be out there with apraxia. So that really what inspired me. In terms of advocacy, I've been telling my story in hopes of spreading awareness about apraxia in general, to help reduce the misunderstandings of apraxia, since there's this gigantic misconception that goes around, especially in high school, where your intelligence is based off how well you speak. And if you do not speak very well, or if you have a really weird voice, then you're pretty much dumbed down. Mm-hmm. and you get pecked down from the social hierarchy, like peck, like that.
Right, 100%. I've seen that too, and agree with that. And that's another reason I wanted you guys to I just got chills again, because that's another reason I wanted you guys to state what you've been able to accomplish, because the way your mouth works with your brain has nothing to do with any intelligence or other abilities that you have. So Samantha, go ahead.
The main reason I've advocated is because the amount I was bullied in high school. I was often excluded from everyone, and in grade 12 I actually found out that the majority of my high school teachers did not read my IEP, and therefore did not actually know that I had a speech impediment. And my IEP was not put into place a lot, so I would get dinged marks for spelling things wrong or not being able to pronounce things properly. So because of that, I really wanted to educate the world that this is a real thing, and doesn't mean I'm dumb just because I sound different. It doesn't mean that I don't belong in regular society. I'm a human being just like everyone else, and I have feelings. And I think if more people understood what apraxia is, there'd be less discrimination against it.
Yeah, very well
Like,
said.
chills
Absolutely.
too, Laura. I'm like
Sorry, Jordan.
trying to shake off.
Oh, I love that. So this is an uncomfortable topic. Like right now, my child is 10. She's sitting here because she likes to watch all of you. But you know, I don't think she's been bullied yet, but it's hard having friends. Like I feel like friends are probably very superficial, you know, like there's no real true friend. And Tessa, I do really feel you when you say there's a pecking order and somehow you get put in a certain group of people or a certain type of person, and you're either at the top of the rung or the bottom, and that's where you stay. And so, you know, I think that I'm interested to know personally when you were bullied. You know, when did that start? Was that elementary, middle? Did it continue? So if we could go ahead and dive into bullying now.
Okay. Should I start?
Go ahead, Tessa. Yeah.
Alrighty. So the bullying did start in middle school. It was not very bad at all because I went to a very small charter school. People were still getting to know each other, and it was like, okay. But by the time high school hit, because I went to the same school as I did for middle school, bam, that's when it started. Because there's like two girls in particular who were on top of the pecking order, like I said earlier. And what they would do is they would purposely exclude me from the group, and they would group me with all the people in the special ed class because of my speech. The weird thing was, I was in advanced English with them, but they would still treat me as if I was like socially years behind them. So they'd go out of the way not to invite me to their parties, not to let them hang out with them, and to make it really known that I was different and should not be included. Despite, however, on the flip side, these special ed kids were great. They did include me. They did know what to say, or like know how to include me into their group, which was really nice. That's been some bullying.
Thank you for sharing that. I know that's so hard.
It is.
Jordan or Samantha?
For me, I actually started advocating for bullying actually before I even came out having a speech impediment. But for me, the bullying started as soon as I moved to a big town. I was never in the big city before grade 3, and before then I was just in a small community where there's 5 kids in my class, so I knew them all. But when I moved to the larger community in grade 3, it really started really, really bad. I didn't know who my friends were. I didn't know that I could make friends. I was often excluded. But when I got to high school, it was when I reached the breaking point in the bullying. It was tolerable in elementary school, but in high school, I would walk down the halls and people would say things like, "There's a retard." They would look at me and they'd whisper, "That girl there, she can't speak like us. She doesn't belong in our school." I went to an old school, so we had to have our own locks to put on our lockers, and my lock got broken into 8 times in 2 months, to the point where it wasn't broken in, they just broke the lock so I couldn't use it. So then I'd have to use that excuse, and I'd be embarrassed in front of the classroom going, "I don't have my books because someone broke my lock again." And then in grade 9, I was bullied by a teacher, actually. To the point where this teacher wrote on my report card that my parents need to have me checked for a mental disability. She would not allow me to be with the rest of the class. I was forced to be in this small room by myself, to the point where I had to actually sneak out of the class before the bell rung, because she would come into the room and she would physically push me down back into the chair and not let me leave the room.
Oh my gosh.
I phoned the school, or I phoned home every single day from the school from running out of that classroom. Obviously, as anyone would, I did develop different mental health issues because of that, where I did not want to go to school. I did not want to be there, and I felt hopeless. However, there was one teacher, and I owe everything to that teacher, because he was not one of my teachers, but he found out I was getting bullied by my peers and by the teacher, and he actually stepped up and helped it quite a bit. While I have been bullied my whole life, and I still get bullied. Last year, I actually went viral because I came out as a bullying advocate who was getting cyberbullied quite severely, where people had told me that I bought all my pageant titles and what I doing wasn't making a difference. But even though I've been bullied, I've learned now that what's happened to me has made me stronger, and I'm not really thankful for what happened to me, but I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for getting bullied like that.
Wow. Yeah, I tell Jordan all the time, turning pain into a purpose is how a lot of times you can get over that. And that's what you did. You turned pain into a purpose. That's what I hear.
Well, I had a really severe case of apraxia. I didn't say an age-appropriate, understandable sentence till I was around 15 years old.
Wow.
So because of that, I was often just sort of pushed off to the side as the girl who couldn't do anything, who would never do anything. I was told I would never graduate by endless amounts of teachers. I was told by doctors that I would never speak, that I would never graduate with a regular diploma. And because of that, it hindered me. And I mean, I was always behind in English and math, probably because of the apraxia as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always sort of the girl because of that was like, okay, she has a laptop to help her communicate and to help her work. We don't want to talk to her.
Mm-hmm. That's so, yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. You're doing, you know, I'm just so happy to see how accomplished you are now. And essentially those people that bullied you look, well, I wouldn't say how I feel like they look.
I feel you, yeah.
I'm like, I'm supposed to be the professional moderating this, so I will be the professional. Yes. Jordan, how about you?
So it's mine actually began as early as my kindergarten year and such, and the bullying was intentional, but also it was unintentional as well. So some kids didn't know that they were actually being mean. They just would ask me different questions like, what's wrong with you? What country are you from and stuff? Because I just couldn't talk. And when I would try, I would kind of grope for my words and stuff. And the bullying never really went away with me. It's just something that carried on, and then by my second grade year is when I first experienced actually being bullied by my teacher. And it is my teacher, I don't think that he fully understood what apraxia was and how it affected me and stuff. So I would take tests, and I just didn't know how to write. I just didn't know yet. And he would yell and scream at me and scream in my ear and slam his hand down and stuff. And that's actually, it's this one time is when I locked myself in the bathroom for an hour because I was in like a full blown on panic attack, and my mind was just so overwhelmed. And that's when my mom actually came down, and then she had some trouble getting me out because I was so overwhelmed and stuff, but she took me home, and that's when she just really worked on making sure that every person knew what apraxia was and stuff. That's when she brought a person in to explain to every person what apraxia was, but that didn't mean that it did stop there. It is actually when I was in my fifth grade year, I actually got punched in the gut by a few people and stuff, and I was just told that I couldn't talk. And when I would actually walk into a class, it is people would say, let's talk like him. And then they would mock me, and they would mock my words and stuff. So I actually got pulled out of public school whenever I was in 6th grade. That car just got close, sorry. I got pulled out I got pulled out of public school when I was in 6th grade, because that's when I was actually experienced bullying from an SLP2 who would allow another person in my speech sessions to mock me and to tell me that I couldn't talk, and she never did anything. And my mom actually didn't find out about this until a few years back, because I was in such shame because I didn't know why all of this happened. But I have definitely learned, and I know that we have conversations all the time because me and Laura text all of the time. But I do believe that what I went through, I did go through for all of this.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like Samantha said, it's not that she necessarily wants it to have happened, but at the same time, it did kind of turn you into the person that you are today. So I'm really inspired by people who are able to do that, who are able to turn their pain into a purpose, because that's very hard actually. And that's why all of you are advocates, in my opinion, for mental health, because frequently you do not have the success stories that the three of you are looking at me have. You frequently have much sadder stories, because it's when you're in that dark place, it's so hard to see out of it. So if we could move into mental health, I'm happy to have anyone start who wants to speak to that.
I'll go. I've struggled with anxiety. When I was a little girl, I would struggle with how my voice sounded. And I, to this day, sort of still cringe when I hear my voice. I can't hear my voice. I hate hearing it. I still sort of just do. I struggle with that quite a bit, and I know it's quite common with apraxia. And when I was bullied, I went through a depression, severe depression, especially when the teacher was bullying me to the point where my mom thought I was suicidal, and I did not want to go to school. I didn't want to be here. I just wanted to sleep. That was sort of my happy spot. Sleeping was like the only spot I was happy. I didn't want to go to school. School was terrifying to me. But now, actually, as an adult, I've gotten the training for suicide prevention, as well as for mental health awareness and mental health screening. So I've actually been able to stop 5 different suicides from happening now. So
that's incredible.
Awesome.
I've been able to take my depression and knowing what it feels like to be there, to be able to stand there and help another person is the best thing ever.
Yeah, if you can help just one, like a lot of advocates say that if you can help just one, it's worth it.
For sure.
Yeah. Jordan or Tessa?
Well, is it okay if I go?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
go.
Mental health has been a big thing for me over the last year, especially because I'm becoming more and more aware of my voice. And sometimes when I hear my voice, just like Samantha said, I'm like, ew, delete that recording right now. and it's like just like kind of, and there's definitely this longing of having a pretty voice. And sometimes like when I watch YouTube channels like The Right Opinion or like some of the commentary YouTube channels, I'm like, if only I had that pretty voice, I would have made more friends by now. I would have had an easier social life, and I would have had an easier time communicating my needs and wants to my teachers. If only I had that prettier voice. That's been like some of my mental health struggles, is comparing myself to other voices that I wish I had.
Mm-hmm.
And also, another thing to go with it, it's been like mentally isolating in terms, even before the quarantine, mentally isolating to make friends. As I said earlier, because everybody stares at me, or everybody stares at you if you sound different,
Mm-hmm.
and they think you're just not intelligent enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another funny thing is, on a lighter note, a lot of people at my college think I'm a foreign exchange student, and they are like, "Whoa, you blow me away with your English," because I attend the University of Colorado Denver, where most of the students are like a good chunk of them are from are international students.
Oh, wow. I mean, how does that make you feel? I know you said it was a lighter note, so.
It's pretty funny when I reveal, I'm like adopted from China at 9 months old, and they say, "Wow."
So do you play tricks with people? I have another person I know who says that sometimes she just goes with it, and it's Allie. There's no Alice and Taylor. Do you all do that where you're like,
I do. I just
gonna mess
sometimes.
with you and say I'm from this country?
I'm actually pretty tempted to do that next fall. Like this close. So what it makes me feel like, it just makes me feel very isolated and kind of alone.
Yeah.
It also just stores up a lot of depression and just like feeling of like longing and just like overall sadness and grief.
Yes. Thank you for being so honest with that. Tessa, you're going to help so many people. All of you are, by being this honest. I like to say that vulnerability is strength. Vulnerability is brave. And that's what you guys are being. This is going to help so many people. I just had a good feeling even coming into this. So you guys are rock stars. Jordan, I'm going to end with you because we have 6 more minutes. If you can go ahead and tell us about your mental health advocacy and passion.
Yeah, sure. So I actually, as young as the age of 5, I really struggled with panic attacks and such. And it's as I aged, and actually whenever I was like 18, 19, and 20, I would have pretty consistent panic attacks when I talked, because if I'm honest, I just didn't like my voice during this time, and I also didn't accept my speech disorder as well. So when I would always go to talk, I always was just really anxious, and I just always felt on edge. And that's actually when I sought out to therapy, which has helped me just accept my voice and not have panic attacks every time that I talk now, because I actually don't now, which is a very nice thing. And I just learned how to really accept it and just be like, this is part of me. Was this something that I asked for? No, because I was just born with it. But of course, I just feel like something that really needs to be said with people with apraxia and such, that it's okay to not even like how you talk. You just need to accept it and just say, this is part of who I am and this is okay. So yeah, that's why I'm really passionate about mental health, because I've been through it too. And yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think I appreciate just the fact that you're honest that you go to therapy. That's something people like hide and don't want people to know. And I just don't understand personally why we have a general practitioner doctor for the rest of our body, but that brain, like, with that organ, that's like seemingly one of the most important. Yeah, that one doesn't need your general practitioner checkup. I'm really confused about that. I hope to break that stigma too.
Same here.
Yeah. So there was something else I was going to say when you were talking that I wanted to tell you guys too. Just, yeah, I think I said what I wanted to say. Like, this is going to help a lot of people. And thank you for sharing your story. I'm really excited because, you know, we're going to be able to reach a lot of people. And now that I'm on Instagram, a lot of SLPs are watching you guys. And I hope that doesn't make you too nervous, but it's really important that they know the whole person and not just your speech disorder, so that they can help the whole person and the whole child and be that person, Samantha, that you said stood up for you. The teacher, it should be, you know, at the very least, you should have your speech teacher that's standing up for you.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, I think that I learned something from you all. I had no idea every single one of you doesn't like hearing the sound of your voice. That was something I learned. And a takeaway for me is to teach my kids how to accept their voice. You know, that's going to be incorporated now into my therapy because of you guys. So, and Tessa, I would argue that you do have a pretty voice, and it's unique though. And that unique is what is going to make you stand out and apart from everyone. And, you know, just like you've done, Samantha, you've taken something very unique and you've built a whole platform of pageant winning on it. You know, it's, yeah, there's your crown. I mean, that's amazing. So, you know, like that voice still earned you that crown, you know, and so it is a beautiful voice. And Jordan, yours too. So last time I got cut off because I talk way too much. Luckily, Tessa said she may edit this. I don't know. But I have a minute left and I'm not going to be cut off this time. So any final words?
Thanks for watching.
Apraxia.
Apraxia Panel.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye.